Why don't estate agents get qualified? Today I'm joined by the awesome Natalie Barton, who is Digital Officer at Propertymark. Talk to me about estate agents, letting agents, and their lack of qualifications. Talk to me.
So, I mean, qualifications, they're the foundation, really, of agency knowledge. I feel like it should be like building a house, Chris. You wouldn't build a house without a solid foundation.
I agree with that.
Absolutely. And knowing about the legislation that's involved, knowing about best practice, they are your absolute foundations of your agency. If you train all of your staff, then you can leave them, you can trust them that they've got that base.
I don't care about
solid.
that. I want listings. I want listings.
You
I
want listings. Then you go out on your market appraisals and you say, do you know all of our staff have got industry qualifications? We've been through, we've learnt the legislation. We are not going to wing it for you. We have got the knowledge that you need. And it's not an either or, because you get those foundations. You get then the support of a network of other industry providers who are on the same course as you, who will help steer you through. This worked for us, for example. Why don't you try this in getting a listing? Have this conversation and you're more likely to win that instruction. So you've got the walls. Then you can add your decor, your flair, your individuality, and that's how you go out and you really win those instructions.
We're filming this 2 weeks after Labour winning the election, and they've indicated that ROPA is something that is of interest to them. I don't believe it was in the Queen's speech, though, this time, was it?
It wasn't the Queen's speech, it's the King's speech these days.
Okay, King's speech these days, yes, sorry.
He did have a fancy cloak on, but he's definitely
it wasn't
the king.
It wasn't in the King's speech, was it?
No, it was. No, it wasn't. But then they've got 40 bills. They're not just focusing purely on property, although house building is going to be.
Yeah, they've done plenty of work on building and planning and all that malarkey.
Absolutely. But then with leasehold reform, that was mentioned. And as we've seen previously in House of Commons discussions, part of that could be, should agents be properly qualified, regulated, so that with this, so it can sneak in other ways. It doesn't have to be
a separate bill
in itself. Absolutely. And as we know, they've got that motivation to get things right. We went to Propertymark, went to the Labour Party conference last year. We had Matthew Pennycook holding a pledge that, you know, to agree that agents should be qualified and regulated. So we'll carry on those conversations.
Do you think it's coming now Labour in power?
Who knows? Well, nobody has got a crystal ball. But why should you wait for legislation to tell you how to be best? Why not do that proactively, out of a sense of moral duty for yourself, for your customers? Why do you have to wait to be told? Why not do it anyway? I know that having that knowledge transferred how I worked, because I wasn't just working with, this is how you've been told, because that's what we do in agency. Suddenly you're working because you understand why.
Most estate agents don't think that way. Probably a lot of letting agents do, but still only a third do, our members. But estate agents, they're quite selfish. I'm not talking about all of them, but most of them selfish, and it's all about the listing. How do we win their hearts and minds?
I think they need to put themselves into the customer's perspective.
Funny.
when you
estate agents are selfish,
but
not all of them. Probably not the ones watching this.
No, we've got a very good audience, Chris.
But the vast majority of them.
Then you need to, as an agent, you want to stand above the low bar.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Now let's go to the high bar.
Do you think, and again, I know you're on the marketing team, and I'm not criticising, do you think Propertymark, you know, because there's no point in being a member unless you take the qualifications, let's be frank.
Well, you have to have the qualifications.
Do you have to get level 3 to? Okay. Do you think you lot could do a bit more about actually saying, look, if you become a member, you're going to get more listings, and then give them some techniques on how to do that? Marketing messages, or you're going to tell me you've already got that, but the ammunition's at the base, but no one's using them? It's
a part and part. There's always room for improvement. There's always a way for members to be better engaged. We've got a website on our YouTube. We've got a video that explores all of the aspects of the Propertymark website. It's absolutely doozy of a video. People should explore it. We've got a new onboarding system for new members. It's just being trialled with NAA onboarding at the moment. We're going to expand that out to the other disciplines in due course. And we are encouraging our new members to explore their way through everything that's available through Propertymark, because people do. I mean, everybody's busy. Agents are busy. We know that they're so busy. So you kind of go, oh, I could do that, but I haven't got time at the minute because I've got to do this. We're trying to
Would
encourage
you
them to be
say you've
proactive.
improved, but you could do better? But there has to be, the responsibility also has to be the agents
Yeah,
too,
yeah, definitely. So
because people are lazy sometimes, aren't they?
lazy or busy. I mean, we've
So obviously,
all
we
got
all
to
have time if it's a priority.
well, yes. But if you're rushing out, you've got agents who are having like lunch in their car on the hoof to try and get from there to there to there.
Okay.
So what point are they going to go, oh, I'm going to explore something over here that might work or might not work, but I've got to invest my time and energy and focus in implementing
Maybe a
that.
podcast. Do Propertymark do a podcast?
We don't
Could
at the
do.
moment.
Strip the audio out of the videos. There's your podcast.
Yes.
Talk to me about the qualifications that Propertymark offer.
Okay, so I mean, the most popular qualification by far is the level 3.
But you need that to become a
We
member.
need it to be a member, but it's been transformed recently. We launched it earlier this year. So it's now modular. You have a basic legal legislative aspect,
Okay.
health and safety. Then you've got other more aspects as well, but now you get to pick and choose. So you will follow the path 1, 2, 3, and it then becomes relevant to whether you're sales or whether you're lettings. It becomes relative to whether you're in England or Wales or Scotland or Northern Ireland. So everything is really relevant to you. If you want to do, if you're in lettings, but then you're going to go into sales, you just need to then tack on at one of the modules and you're there. So you can do it piecemeal as you want to, as it's meaningful to you, and you can build a greater portfolio. So it's practical, it's relevant, and it's going to help people in their jobs and in their career trajectory. And then once you're beyond that, because we know, Chris, can't we? You can be a great agent, you can be great at selling houses. Doesn't mean that you're a great manager, doesn't mean you're a great marketeer, doesn't mean that HR side comes easily to you. So our level 4 is, again, it's stepped more away from legislation and the really kind of archaic bits that you don't get every day into practical, pragmatic help for people who are stepping up through their career and giving them something that will actually be more than just a certificate and some post-nominals.
So actually, anyone who's like a neg or a valley or wanted to become a branch manager,
If you want to progress,
because most bosses don't give themselves management training.
No.
I don't call it management training, but it'll certainly help, won't it?
definitely. So it will give
There's
you
another angle there for you, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Gift keeps giving, eh?